When you think of Los Angeles in the 1910s, your mind probably goes straight to cinematic magic, right? Sunlit glamour, artistic pioneers inventing a whole new world. But today, we're taking a look at the actual machinery humming behind that illusion. We're exploring the historical reality of the early silent film industry through the lens of Samuel Stevens' rather haunting historical novel, The Orbits of Stars. Throughout this explainer, we're going to strip away the romance and just observe the relentless, calculated industry of the emerging studio system.
To really understand this world, we have to start with the visceral, sensory reality of an early film set. And let me tell you, it was not glamorous. It was defined by heat, by carbon arc glare, by dust and mechanical noise. Just imagine standing in a room heavy with the humid smell of boiling paint, sawdust, sweat, cold cream, and the camphor off-gassing from unexposed, highly flammable cellulose nitrate film. The air was thick. The noise was relentless. This was a factory floor, first and foremost. So consider the world of Florence Reed. She's a performer, and one of the two central protagonists in The Orbits of Stars. Her reality was this muted, silver gelatin kind of isolation. The novel notes, quite beautifully actually, that Florence learned the studio's habits by the way it fed her. Breakfast arriving without ceremony, a tray placed beside the door while she slept, tea poured and covered, a slip of paper with her name on it. She didn't ask for it, it was just provided. And this introduces us to the systemic isolation of performers, where every need is anticipated, not out of love, but out of a need for total operational control. You know, we so often buy into the grand myth of early Hollywood. The idea that filmmakers fled the East Coast's aggressive patent-enforcing trust to find open opportunity and artistic freedom out in the sun-baked West. But the reality? The reality was the rapid establishment of a vertically integrated oligopoly. The industry was shifting from a loose, artisanal director unit setup directly into a strict producer unit assembly line. A single corporation sought to control everything, manufacturing the films, the regional distribution networks, and theatrical exhibition in the movie palaces. It was factory labor and strict asset control essentially masquerading as a dream.
Section 1. The Mechanics of Erasure.
To manage its human components, the massive industrial machinery of this emerging studio system relied on highly euphemistic, bureaucratic language. And the absolutely crucial point here is their definition of friction. In this vertically integrated system, early studio heads, like the novel's rather formidable executive, Victor Harlow, viewed human autonomy as a strict operational liability. Anything unexpected, any unrationalized creative method, well, that was deemed friction. And friction had to be systematically eliminated. The system was structured to reward predictability, legibility, and absolute compliance. The human assets were treated as interchangeable inputs that had to be completely insulated from causing any operational disruption to the balance sheet.
And how exactly did they eliminate that friction? Through something deeply unsettling, something that modern corporate structures honestly still echo today: a redefinition of care. The ultimate weapon of early Hollywood wasn't loud, dramatic confrontation. It was polite, administrative violence. In The Orbits of Stars, we see how strict scheduling, forced escorts, wardrobe management, and even the administration of laudanum are presented to the talent as acts of executive care. It's a brilliant, terrifying mechanism for isolation. The vocabulary of management was weaponized by making it structurally indistinguishable from the vocabulary of hospitality. To truly grasp what it meant to survive this specific kind of care, we have to look back at the harrowing physical toll of the factory floor. We are talking about 43-acre centralized assembly lines, like Innsville. Sets were illuminated by open carbon arc lights, emitting blinding white light and unfiltered UV radiation. This caused Kliege, an excruciating condition that actors described as feeling like hot sand was being rubbed directly into their corneas. Add to that a constant cacophony, carpenters hammering unfinished sets right next to live cameras, multiple directors shouting through metal megaphones, mood musicians playing violins inches from an actress's face just to summon tears, all of it competing with the whirring of manual camera cranks. All of this surrounded by the ever-present, terrifying volatility of cellulose nitrate film. Surviving the Dream Palace required immense, unromantic determination. Section 2. Two Women in the Machinery. Let's look at how two women navigate this machinery, arriving in this mechanical chaos with nothing but talent, determination, and two suitcases. First, we have Ellen Reed, the screenwriter. Ellen's core belief is that documentation is protection. She arrives with a brand new stitched spine notebook from Market Street. She believes that if the facts are recorded accurately, they simply cannot be rewritten.
Her notebook acts as a counter-archive against the institutional erasure we just discussed. But what's fascinating here is how the studio responds. They don't crush her. Instead, they absorb her competence laterally. Her usefulness is redirected into quiet administration. The system doesn't actually require her physical presence, only her output.
Now contrast Ellen with her sister, Florence Reed, the performer. Florence operates on the belief that compliance is temporary. She figures that if she performs exactly what is required right now, she will eventually earn the trust needed to work on her own terms later. But remember that definition of care? Florence's utility and compliance are entirely exploited by the studio. The schedule, the escorts, the chemical dependency. By the time she understands that the laudanum serves the studio's utility and not our own comfort, the dependency is already physical.
And this builds right into the intellectual engine of the narrative, the recursive loop of compliance. Step 1, the system demands usefulness. Step 2, the human asset, like Ellen or Florence, performs perfectly. Step 3, the system extracts immense value from that success without granting any corresponding authority. And finally, step 4, the asset becomes trapped by their own success. The more precisely Ellen documents, the more indispensable she becomes to the very mechanism erasing her. The more useful Florence is, the more heavily the studio isolates her. Recognition and usefulness in this ecosystem are fundamentally different things. Section 3, the moment of choice. This brings us to the absolute precipice of the story. The moment the sisters manage to step outside the prescribed lines and actually build something real on their own, inside this emerging studio system. In a borrowed, narrow dressmaker's room with the windows blacked out, they shoot an independent production. No studio buffer, no union cushion. But, as the character Charles Morton astutely warns in the novel, when things go wrong, the first thing that gets rewritten is memory. This quote hangs so heavily over the narrative. It reminds us of the limits of Ellen's strategy of documentation. You can record all the facts you want, but when the massive machinery of the studio pushes back against independent success, well, the facts are the first casualties. And the pushback is swift. It's not a loud argument, mind you. It is a crushing administrative block placed right in front of them at the exact moment their independent work proves its worth in a private screening. The studio delivers an ultimatum. The work is good. They will distribute it through their vertically integrated network. But that distribution depends entirely on crediting a man as the director, instead of Ellen. Which leaves us with the central, suffocating dilemma of the orbits of stars. What do you do when the system corners you with your own success? Do Ellen and Florence compromise their truth to guarantee their work reaches an audience? Or do they hold the work as their own, risking total erasure and ensuring film never sees the light of day? It's a choice between a lie that grants you reach or a truth that guarantees your silence. The Orbits of Stars by Samuel Stephen.